Hi guys, it's Irit, and I have something kind of special today. Um, this will be one long, kind of fast. I mean, I fast forwarded my process quite a bit um, video. And these are the last three layouts I created with my June hip kits. And I decided to put it all on one video and really show you my process. And I think I also left it at the order that I made it. And yeah, I just wanted to show you how I used up my kit, my thought process, and maybe a few tips to help you use up your kit. So I'm starting here with a layout that is going to go in my daughter's kindergarten album. I have an album with, I think she's now in her fourth year, so she's been in kindergarten kind of since she was 2. And so I don't know, I think I have like 1 or 2 albums that is just photos that the kindergarten teachers took in the kindergarten, and I decided to keep it in a separate album. I don't know, I think it makes sense because it's not time that we spend together. It's kind of time when she's on her own and doing like her own things. So I made a separate album. Also, the photos tend to be very busy and colorful, and yeah, so I use it as an opportunity to play with lots of colors and patterns and papers, and maybe go with a style that is busier than what I usually make. And it's, I think, a great way to challenge yourself a little bit, change things around, and also use up some papers and patterns in a way that you might not otherwise. That's at least how it feels to me. And so you see in this case, I started with the orange cardstock. I like orange, but it's not one of these colors that I use a lot. And on a layout, I rather have it as an accent color and not as a main color. So if you're going to use lots of patterns, you can choose cardstock that we will be covering most of it. You can see, I think there's like 1/4 inch of it peeking, but it holds all the other scraps because the other papers are not a whole 12 by 12 sheet. So, choose a color that you don't mind covering up. And then I cut a couple of strips from the aqua cardstock. I really like that color, and I think it's a pop of a calmer color, as opposed to all the pinks and oranges we have going on. No, that washi tape is way too busy, and it's just not gonna make it to this layout. So I'm going with my main colors are those pinks, and then I have some oranges and a pop of that aqua. And you can see the photos, as I said, busy, colorful, like it is in kindergarten. And yeah, so I think they still pop even if the background is quite busy. And I'm just using my scraps that I love that stripe, that bold stripe, like the dark pink and the light pink. This is from, I think it's Fancy Pants. And but I wanted also to use the floral, but the floral was somehow too busy to be like a huge piece on my layout. So I just cut out a couple of strips and used them also. And now I decided, because my title is longer than that orange piece of star paper, I don't want it to go on the bold stripe, so I want another pattern to go there, and I don't have a big enough strip, so I'm just cutting my strips and making it work, and the tag is going to cover it, so it's going to look like I'm just lining it up. So the tag is going to cover it, and it's going to look like it's one big piece of paper, and you won't know that I only had this little strip. That alpha is also like super fun. I've used it on a ton of layouts. I think this is like my third package. We got it in one of the kits, and I think it works for everything, but it definitely looks great on any children or kindergarten type of layouts, because it's like this cute font. And I decided to use that tag. I really like how the letters pop on it. It's a bit darker than the pattern papers that were behind the letters before. So I'm going to use that as a place to ground my title. So that's another way to use a tag for your title. And then on the other big tag I have there on the right side, I'm going to write my journaling. And of course, since these are chipboard thickers, they need a little help with sticking. So I'm going to help them. And then after I glue them all down, I noticed that the stickers package have also these clammers. You call them clammers? I don't know. That word sounds weird to me when I say it now. Sounds like some work tool or something. But anyway, I decided to add them also. It makes no sense. Just for my random title, I thought it looked cute. And that's my first layout. So super colorful, great for using pattern papers. And I also matted my photos on this aqua piece of cardstock, so it lets them pop over that busy background. Okay, so now we're really starting with doing something out of nothing. And I had the pink cardstock left from the cardstock add-on, and then I had some bits and pieces of pattern paper. So I decided to glue them kind of in the middle of the page, leaving a lot of untouched space at the top and bottom. Now, this is total playtime for me. It's leftovers. I'm also going to use a couple of photos from the kindergarten. I have a lot of photos, and they're really cute, but it's not, as I said, it's going to go to the kindergarten album, where I feel freer to play with colors and all that. So if this is not your cup of tea, a few ways to tone it down. First of all, you can use white cardstock. That will make everything immediately calmer. Then you can make this whole mess that I made in the middle with the pattern papers, you can make it smaller. So, around, let's say 4 inches, whereas mine is probably closer to 6 inches. So that whole messy area will take up a smaller real estate on your layout. If you don't like the torn edges, you can cut your pattern paper into nice little strips with nice organized edges. I'm not joking. It's like I'm not, I can totally understand. I love clean layouts. I think they look amazing. For me, it's, something I do once in a while, but I'm just messy. So you can cut it into triangles or squares or something smaller and cleaner. You can also die cut it into circles or any other shape that you have. Flowers, hearts, you can hand cut it and just make a strip, in the middle of your layout, or maybe at the bottom third or top third, wherever you like it. And that would look much, much cleaner. So now I had a bunch of these craft tags from the embellishment kit, I think. And I knew this was going to be super busy, so I cut my pink cardstock down, I think 1/2 inch from each side, so I can mount it on another piece of cardstock. because that really frames the page and looks a bit not so hectic. So because I'm kind of going with the flow, this is definitely playtime for me. And I added some white paint. You can add gesso. If you want your patterns to show, you can add matte medium, or don't add anything, but just be aware that if you add a lot of water with your mixed media, all the papers might warp and buckle. And yeah, then I'm doing my usual thing, playing with some mists and some inks that we got. The inks came from the color kit and for June, and the mists are from previous color kits. And I'm just playing around, adding some color. And I'm going to put my photo on top, and I think the photo is quite... it is colorful, but it's not like super busy because, it's a kind of a close-up of my daughter. So I think it still pops on that background. And I cut out from that orange piece of cardstock that I'm going to mount my layout. I gutted it a little bit so I can use it as a mat for my photo. So that's also a nice way to bring things together. It's not my idea. I've seen many people do this. I think Nicole Jones does it all the time. And Kitty Scrapper also. It's a great idea to, bring a layout together. So repeat elements in different places of the layout. In this case, the orange cardstock that I will mount my layout is also the mat for my photo. And it just looks good. And I also added a piece of vellum, which also comes in the cardstock kit, because it really helps to blur out the mess that is the background and, let the photo pop. As I said, I'm not too bothered that it's really busy. I don't know. I think it goes with the whole atmosphere of childhood and kindergarten and all that. So I am, happy to try things out. And, next time when I want to make a calmer, prettier page, I still have some, I learned something from everything I made. And I can do the same toned down. So I don't have so much dimensional adhesive. So I'm using the packaging from the glitter chipboard stars we got in the embellishment kit, and so my photo is going to be popped like a bit more raised from the rest of the layout. And since I really don't have a lot of embellishments left from this kit, or nothing that really works, I'm looking at some leftovers from previous kits. I think these must be maybe the March kit or April. I have no idea, but it came in hip kits. So I thought the wood veneers were a nice touch with Explore and you pointing at the photos. I think there were a couple more I could have used, but they were all pointing the wrong way, so I couldn't really use them. And I just want to add a couple of elements, maybe cover that, you can cover up some spots that you think are just not so attractive. I added also some stamping with the pigment inks here and there, of course, tone on tone. So pink where the pink and the yellow where the yellow is. And I'm adding some wood veneer. These are all leftovers. I think I painted some of them white. So this is, a way to use leftovers. You can just go for like one element and, use a bunch of it. So go for like wood veneers and then use a lot of wood veneers. I think they work with these types of layouts because they are kind of natural and neutral and calmer than the rest of the mess. So I'm going to add this arrow that says awesome. And this is from Pink Fresh Studio, from their previous collection. They just came out with a new one, and it's going to be in the August tip kits, which makes me very happy. So these cork hearts also came in a previous kit, and I had some left over, and I'm just going to add them in 3 different places. You see I keep the heights different so they don't line up, and I'm not a huge fan of the color of cork. I'm not a huge brown fan, and so I'm just adding some ink with my ink daubers there, or dabbers, and I'm also adding it a bit to the wood veneer. So what was I saying about it being natural and neutral? Yeah, don't mind me. And I decided I wanted to add some bling, so I also added some stickles to the cork hearts, and this needs a few hours to dry. So don't put it in your page protector immediately, or you'll get in trouble if you don't let the stickles dry. Or glossy accents, that also looks great on any type of embellishment, and especially things like cork and wood. I don't know, it just looks really great. But also just regular die cuts, if you want to pimp them up a bit, you know, you can add something like stickles or glossy accents. Just don't forget to let it dry. And I'm adding my journaling in a white jelly roll pen around the page. And this will be it with this crazy layout. I really enjoyed making it. I used up a bunch of stuff and had fun. So it's a win-win situation. And the, you know, photo is on a layout. It's going in an album. It's great. You know, it's not my favorite, but I really enjoy making these layouts just as much as I enjoy making, you know, the more attractive photogenic layouts. And yeah, that's my finished page. And yeah, you can see some close-ups. And next up is my last one for this kit, and I think I could probably make another one if I pull like cardstock or some papers from my stash, but I don't have any more pattern paper, and I think I have 1 sheet of navy cardstock. So what you're looking now on the screen is pretty much all the papers I have left from the kit, and the background paper, the 12 by 12, is from the May kit because I don't have any more 12 by 12. So here's some tips on stretching your kit. And just adding nice detail. You know, if you have a large stash, then maybe you're not so concerned about using up every little piece. But it feels great, and you know, when you love the products, you want to use like every bit of them. So at the bottom, I'm going to add this manufacturer strip from that poolside paper, and it's going to help to ground my layout. I went for the background paper. The 12 by 12 was from the May kit. It's, I think, from the Citrus Bliss collection. And it's this lovely shade of kind of aqua. I don't think the color on the screen is completely true. And yeah, so now I have like 2 strips of paper. So vellum is a great way to add some interest and texture and some shadows on your layout. Makes it look, yeah, as I said, richer and more interesting. It's like a little detail that, you know, you maybe not notice, but it's there and it adds something. So the other strip is my last piece of that lovely Simple Stories paper, and it wasn't big enough to like be that size that I wanted it, so I cut it in half and tucked it behind my main strip there. And now I'm just working with what I have. So I have a bunch of these word thickers that I think look great and add so much because they are your title and they're also a type of embellishment, and they just look really, really great. So I didn't know where I wanted to put them, so I kind of took the stickiness away with this powder tool that I have from, I don't know who makes it, but I think I got it at Simon Says Stamp. And you could just use a bit of, baby powder with a brush and get the same effect. So besides that white strip that I have going behind my photo, I had a tiny piece of scrap from the same paper. So I used 3 punches and cut some clouds and butterflies. So this is something you can do when you have very small amounts of pattern paper and not a lot of embellishments left. You can kind of make your own clusters with something like punches, or you can hand cut it. You don't need a punch, but punches really make it fast and easy. So I had that radio. I think it's really one of the last bits and pieces from the ephemera pack that we got in the main kit. And I really like how it looks, and I don't know, it makes me think of summer and vacation. So I used it. And I'm going to use a couple of the other die cut pieces that I have left kind of to ground my embellishment cluster. And I have like quite a few of those stickers left. Those came in the Project Life kit, but a lot of them didn't really go with this layout. They had things like flip-flops and swimsuits, and even though the photo was taken now and it's summer and everything, but I'm random. But since I know I will have photos with water and flip-flops and swimsuits, so I'm kind of saving those stickers for when they are less random. So I'm going to add my word thickers there and a few of the stickers, and I think it already looks much richer. When I just started with like 2 little pieces of pattern paper, I was really thinking, okay, how can I make this work? But you add bits and pieces here. If you don't have from this month's kit, then go look in your stash for things that work with your color scheme, and just grab those, or some past kits or something. So this is going to be my embellishment cluster at the top of the page. And yeah, I'm not going to add too much to it. I'm going to add my clouds. When I'm making these types of clusters, I think dimension is really great to add and really makes things look better, more interesting. So, foam adhesive, or I saw someone posted on Facebook this great tip. Sorry, I can't remember your name, but she used some leftover foam thickers of letters that she doesn't use, like X and Q's and those. She used that as her foam adhesive. So that's a really great way to repurpose things and use them up. So the great thing about pattern paper is that it's double-sided, and I only had one piece of pattern paper to use here. If you have a bunch of scraps, then you get more patterns, and that's great, but I only had the one, so I'm using both sides where I think it looks good. And yeah, that's, I think, the last thing I will add. I'm going to add my butterflies, and I kind of fold them in the middle and add the glue only in the middle, so that the wings are not glued to the page. It also looks really great, dimensional, and adds movement to the layout. And the last thing I will add is some mist. I'm using the Heidi Shine Gold. Just looks beautiful, works so great with all these summer colors. And if you don't have things like enamel dots, I know they are like pricey. I think the ones I have are the ones I get with my kit, and other than that, I don't buy them too much because they cost like $5 a package and when they are full price. So I think Gold Mist, yes, it's more messy, but it kind of adds the same effect, like these little touches of extra something, that little detail, different shape, different texture. So I think it just adds this richness and a great final touch to the layout. And now I'm just adding the year, trying to get it straight. And I want to add some journaling just about what I'm thinking about this summer and how it's different and, all kinds of things that are happening. But I guess I'll do it off screen sometime. And that's me adding very bravely my Gold Mist. And that's it. So I hope you got some good ideas on how to use up some of your stuff. And look how great those gold drops look. I just love it. I think it looks amazing. And that's it. So thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. Have a great day. Bye.